Welcome to the Fluid Forum. I'm here with Mr. Lennon. Mr. Lennon, can you tell us a little bit about what your company is and what you do?
I'll be happy to. I operate talk loss, funerals, and cremations, and the focus of our company is to assist people in talking about their loss. We're the aftercare difference. I look at funeral service as being an opportunity for people to actually have closure, and then from there to continue the conversation about their beloved.
Of course, of course. And what would you think is the biggest challenge that your firm is facing in today's industry?
I think the biggest challenge is that there's so many opportunities for young people, and when you come into this type of profession, funeral service or assisting in the final disposition of beloveds, it's a 24-hour job, 24 hours, 7 days a week. And 9 times out of 10, once someone has experienced a loss, they're up all day. So you can, I'm gonna leave so you can get some rest. No, we're not going to go to sleep. We're going to be up for 24 hours. And the younger generation, there's so many choices they can make. You have the internet, you have podcasting, you have so many things that they can do. And so when they come into this profession, helping them to understand that this is a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour-a-day job. And if you're not in it for the passion, because it's not the money there that you might think, then you maybe really need to make another selection.
Of course,
Professional selection.
Yeah, so passion is going to be one of the biggest things to keep the business operating.
I think so, passion. And it doesn't, when I used to teach mortuary science, one of the things I looked for when I spoke to students entering the program is that, what is your passion? Some would say, they wanted to see decedents. That kind of would alarm me, because your passion really needs to be toward the living.
Yes.
Because, the deceased is very important, but you really need to have people skills, and you need to really want to kind of help people to move to that next level. That's just my perspective.
Of course, no, I understand. And as far as staffing in general, to find new people to work that have this passion for the industry, has that been tough in today's market?
It has been. I've talked to, which is very interesting, I was talking to a young lady yesterday at the funeral home. She's 38 years old.
Okay.
And she was saying when she interviews people, the misunderstanding that this is a 24-hour job, 7 days a week. So if someone passes at 3 o'clock in the morning, she said, the question is, are you available? And they're like, no. Well, who's going to go at 3 o'clock in the morning if they don't go?
Yeah.
So, you have to understand. And then the other thing is manpower. I think it's great. The funeral profession has always been women.
Yeah.
The Egyptians, the females prepared the beloveds. But you also need the physical manpower of people able to move the beloveds from their place of transition onto the cot and down the stairs. So that would be the second thing. We have many more women coming into the profession than men, and I think it's great we have women in the profession.
Yeah.
But we need the manpower as well. And so that would be another challenge, I think, in the industry.
I hear you. Now, how challenging is it to maintain operational efficiency during different seasons?
Well, interestingly, compassion is out there, so that assists. I believe that back in the day, you had more staff members. But like all industries, compassion is a service company.
Yeah.
So we can engage them and put them in places where we might need them. So for instance, if you have a transfer at 3 o'clock in the morning, not that you're not responsible, but you can pass it on to them, and you're comfortable knowing that they're going to go ahead and take care of it. So from that regard, the different service organizations that are coming into the profession has helped to mitigate the employee issue.
Yeah. Okay.
So and for that, I'm very thankful.
How has been your experience working with Compassion Funeral Services?
Oh, they're fine. They're great. I work out of several different funeral homes, and I hear nothing. I see them on the list to say call Compassion, and they'll have another backup, or they'll have a company prior to Compassion, a funeral director that might work for them,
Yes.
and then they'll say call Compassion for the next. So yeah, they seem to be I've been impressed with how well organized they are and how they come on the scene and take care of business.
Of course, of course.
And you also want a professional presentation representing you, and that's what's so important as well. I just wanted to go back and say that women make a great contribution to the funeral service. I wasn't saying anything about women being in the service,
Yes.
as much as I was saying that when you have a 5'1", and they're tough, young ladies show up to make a removal, and the person's 300 pounds, you're like, I need,
It's a different kind of challenge.
I need some man. Or if you send me, I can't move the beloveds as I used to back in the day.
Yes, yes.
When I was a younger man. So yeah, you need young, strong people to do this.
Of course, of course.
But I know some women that can move. I know a lady that I'd stopped her from doing some work, and now I let her do whatever she wants to do because she moves them better than I can.
You learned really quickly, didn't you?
I did.
Do you have any final thoughts that you would like to wrap up this interview with?
No, I just think it's great. What I'm talking about are communication skills with the funeral directors, and I believe it's not just a funeral director issue. I believe it's more or less just a humanity issue at this point. Many of the younger people didn't have that. You have the internet. You have so many things that keep people from communicating, and we've lost that ability to talk with one another.
Yeah.
And to receive feedback or to give feedback.
Be critiqued.
To be critiqued, yeah, just and accepted in the manner. So I think that's that's what I'm here to do, to talk about how to improve your communication skills.
Of course, of course. Mr. Lennon, thank you so much for your time.
It's been my pleasure.
We appreciate it. Catch us back again for the next interview.